Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49 just south of Opelousas.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hello and welcome as we start the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours in your little slice of South Louisiana heaven since the last opportunity we had to spend a little time with you and yours. We start today's show with Louisiana news as we typically do. And the tragic, horrible trend continues. Last Friday, police report at a birthday party of all places in Bogalusa, Louisiana. Large group of teenagers show up for a birthday party, and you already know where this is going, right? Shots are fired, 3 teenagers shot. A 15-year-old dies from his injuries. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, young people, you have to ask your parents what a record is. But I don't know what it's going to take for us to get a handle on this. Well, let me back up. I do know what it's going to take. And it's a fairly simple equation. Parenting, real parenting, and a fear of being held accountable for your actions. Here I go again. Back in my day, there were certain things you didn't do because of the mere fact that it would cast such a horrible negative dispersion on your neighborhood, your parents, your city, and yourself. Certain things you didn't want the stigma of carrying around with you. Sadly, the individuals celebrating the birthday, for the rest of their lives, they will have to think back to what happened on their birthday. It is such a sad commentary, and as you well know, as we watch all of this unfold, the ages of perpetrators and victims continues to get lower and lower and lower. How many of you right now hearing that a 15-year-old was murdered at a birthday party are no longer shocked by that? I mean, after all, we hear 14-year-olds, we hear 13-year-olds, we hear 12-year-olds. It's gotten to be old news now. And I don't know what that says more about our young people or us. I'll leave that to you to decide. You know, the Louisiana news. I thought about including this one in the next segment. Now that's just stupid. But this one says a lot to me, that in 2022, we still have people that don't realize what in the military they call SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. Here in Baton Rouge, man arrested on drug charges, sitting in jail. During the course of his incarceration, he is talking with his girlfriend. You know what the conversation was about, right? Remember, he's in on drug charges. On the prison's phone system, he is now talking to his girlfriend on how to, wait for it, manufacture, package, and distribute, guess what? Illegal drugs. Law enforcement will probably get a little upset with me, and y'all know I'm your biggest supporter. But there will always be the stupid among us, so law enforcement, don't get too angry with me. In 2022, in case you don't know, they monitor phone calls coming in and out of the jail. As horrific as it is that she decides, I guess, to carry on the family business, there were also 2 small children in tow when law enforcement, after monitoring the phone calls, set up drug buys with her. During the course of purchasing the illegal drugs, there were 2 small children in her custody. What do you think the odds are that those children are already behind the 8 ball starting out in life? What do you think the odds are that these 2 children will grow up to be well-adjusted, contributing members of society? You know, you talk about the societal ramifications of things. Now, not only do you and I get to pay for 3 hots and a cot for the guy, we now also get to pay for 3 hots and a cot for the girlfriend. And you and I will also get to pay for whatever social services will now have to be doled out for the children of these 2 individuals. There's no such thing, y'all, as a crime only having the individual involved having to pay the cost. This is something that, sadly, in recent memory, we have seen happen over and over and over again. To wrap up this segment, I want to tip my hat to someone. It is one of those instances where we would like to think that all of us have the intestinal fortitude to do this. And there was a point in time where we did. Sadly, that's no longer the case. In Gibson, Louisiana, 2 men, and I already know I'm going to butcher this guy's name, his last name, so please charge it to my head, not to my heart. Jeff LaPerouse, Lapeyrouse. That's the best I can do, Jeff. I'm sorry. From Bourg, Louisiana. And Chase Dupree of Chauvin, driving down the road last week, LA 182 in Assumption Parish, and they see a car run off the road into a bog and start to sink. They pull over, dive into what can only be described as a murky canal. And fortunately for the 4 occupants, 2 small children, trapped inside the car, They put their own well-being aside, dove into the water, able to extract the 4 people from the car, doing what we'd like to think all good Louisianians would do. I don't know if all of us would do this anymore, but for these 2 guys, tip of the hat to you, fellas. That's what our state is supposed to be known for. That's what, sadly, we are no longer known for. But the fact of the matter is, any given day, any given time, any given place, you may find yourself in a life-threatening situation. I know it's something many of us never take the time to think about because you never think it'll happen to you. But a good idea is in your car, somewhere within arm's reach, get you a small hammer and keep it in the car, because you never know, and most of us don't have the experience to understand the forces at play. Being inside a car that is submerged, you're not going to open the door because of the pressure exerted on the vehicle. If you get trapped in that vehicle, unless there are 2 good Samaritans, as the case is here, that may be the beginning of your demise. I know it's something none of us like to think about, and maybe it's only because of this that I start to think more and more about my mortality as I see things like this happen. But this could have very easily been a tragedy had it not been for 2 guys that saw a need and decided to respond. Tip of the hat to you guys. You are the truest example of Louisiana and all that's good about us. We are heading up on our first break of today's show. It is Tuesday and segment 2. Dal, what does that mean? Time for what? Dal's like, why are you asking me? Nah, now that's just stupid. If you haven't seen the segment before, you'll get a chuckle out of this one. And ironically enough, I guess I was owed this one because the last 2 episodes we've had Florida Man doing stuff that was just, oh my God. Well, it's our turn. Louisiana in the spotlight. Matter of fact, one in St. Tammany Parish, the other right here in good old BR. That's next, after we finish break number 1 of the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun, too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Make the most of every moment together in a 3-row Mazda CX-9. Find yours during the season of inspiration.
Make no payments for 90 days on a new CX-9 during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bugs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bugs Show. If you are new to the station, new to the show, what have you, you may not be aware that observing behavior in our country and abroad and how stupid people have become, we've instituted a new segment entitled, "Now That's Just Stupid." As the graphic on the screen shows you, however, this level of stupid is not your normal S-T-U-P-I-D. This requires its own spelling, S-T-O-O-P-I-D, as in, now that's just stupid. We start in Louisiana, St. Tammany Parish. 53-year-old Pete Dunhurst walks up to the motor pool at the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office, climbs into the driver's seat of a Hummer, and the employees there, as you might imagine, are well familiar with who works there and who doesn't. So they see this guy sitting in the driver's seat of the Hummer, and they ask, excuse me, what are you doing? The 53-year-old Pete Dunhurst says, I'm with the narcotics division, and I'm taking the Hummer to be serviced. As you might imagine, the people there knew the information was false. As a matter of fact, they called a patrol deputy who arrested him back in November on a burglary charge, where he also told them he was with the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office Narcotics Division. The sheriff issued a statement saying, in part, and I quote, "Don't pretend to be the police when you're talking to the police. We tend to know who our co-workers are. You think? You think?" S-T-O-O-P-I-D. Stupid. Secondly, speaking of Louisiana guy, or in this case, Baton Rouge guy, you know, life is a funny thing. It is comprised in large part of relationships. Family relationships, occupational relationships, personal relationships. And as you well know, many times personal, romantic relationships don't end well. Such was the case of 25-year-old Andre Boudreaux. There's got to be a Boudreaux and Thibodeau joke in this somewhere. 25-year-old Mr. Boudreaux broke up with his girlfriend and, sadly, as many people do, decided he was going to stalk her. So, after obtaining nude pictures of his previous girlfriend, he decided that the way to get back at her for breaking up with him was to, one, send the nude pictures to her college professors, and two, to send, you can't make this stuff up, to send the pictures to, wait for it, the chief of the BRPD. Wait a minute. The college professors, on a bad day, I guess I could see that. But the chief of the Baton Rouge Police Department, I don't know, maybe he's one of those attention seekers. Well, rest assured, buddy, you send that to the chief of the BRPD, you will get some attention. He got plenty of it. Arrested, and the thing is, who doesn't know in today's world that the entire planet is now interconnected? You can't make a phone call, send an email, anything to do with the digital age without leaving a digital footprint. It's not that hard to do. Of course, now, this sounds like one of those guys that is of the opinion, I'm smarter than everybody. Nah, bruh, you stupid. Finally, just so we know, stupid is not confined just to this country. Have you seen this, heard of this recently? The Cambridge Dictionary, on par with all the other well-known dictionaries, Merriam-Webster, Webster's, go on down the line. In their updated edition of the Cambridge Dictionary, and y'all do realize, when you're talking Cambridge, you're talking one of the most prestigious universities on the entire planet. Okay? We're talking Harvard, we're talking Yale, we're talking all the big names. They recently released their latest edition of the Cambridge Dictionary. And the definitions have been modified now for a man and a woman. You had to know this was coming. Remember, we had in front of the entire world, broadcast live as it happened, confirmation hearings for a female Supreme Court seat. And she was asked at that time, can you define what a woman is? And she told the entire world without batting an eye, no. You can't define what a woman is? No, I can't. I'm not a biologist. So I guess this really shouldn't be all this surprising. The new definition in the Cambridge Dictionary for a woman is, quote, an adult who lives, here it comes, and identifies as female, even though, here it comes again, they may have been said to have a different sex at birth. Did you notice how they managed to slip the pronoun they in there? Did you catch that? Meanwhile, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, the definition of a man is now, quote, an adult who lives and identifies as male, though they may have been said to have a different sex at birth. I started that out about Cambridge as saying it is one of the most prestigious and highly thought of educational institutions on the planet. You got a question. If you are an amalgamation of the brightest minds on the planet, allegedly, and you can't figure out the difference between a man and a woman, what else should I not be trusting you about? Children go there to enhance their knowledge. They go there to learn and put the rest of society in a position to prosper in the future. If the Cambridge Dictionary, and you got to imagine Cambridge University as well, if they can't figure this one out, how in God's name would you trust them on anything else? It's like what used to be one of my favorite game shows on TV, Jeopardy. A show that prides itself on knowledge, education, wisdom. I stopped watching, as many of you did as well, when the first guy, and yeah, bruh, you're a dude, who thinks he's a woman, became this multiple championship winner. I'm sitting there watching the commercial for Jeopardy, and it says, in essence, will she be able to continue her reign as champion? And I'm saying to myself, just like with this story at Cambridge, how can I trust you anymore to be a purveyor of knowledge when you can't figure out that this is a he and not a she? The world, my fellow Americans, has gone stark raving mad. But you know, this will only continue if we allow it to. Just an observation. Bottom of the hour break. When we come back, what are the priorities of the federal government? And what do they think our priorities are? We'll talk about that when we continue the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49, just south of Opelousas.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, in recent memory, the old adage has become more true than ever before, particularly as it pertains to the federal government. Perception is reality, is one. And another that I'm fond of, that I coined a phrase for, Marty, don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. Thank you, sir. In recent memory, those of us that have been paying attention know full well that our southern border is being invaded. Tens, no. Hundreds, no. Millions of people simply walking across our border and setting up shop. If you think back in our country's history, there has always been a process involved. As you well know, part of the inscription at the base of Lady Liberty welcomes those who will seek to become a part of what we enjoy here and assimilate into this country. Ever since the advent of the Biden-Harris administration, our southern border has been inundated, literally overrun by people. I heard just this morning from over 100 different countries. Last week, the leader of the free world, President Joe Biden, was in a border state, Arizona, there for a photo op about a microchip company that's tripling its investment and size in that state. So while there, right on the border, a reporter asked, Mr. President, since you're here in a border state, are you going to take a short trip down to the border to see the magnitude of the problem that a whole lot of folks are concerned about? You know what his response was? And I quote, "No, because there's more important things going on." Wow. Ask the people in Texas, Arizona, and other border states if there's, quote, more important things going on. And of course, the mainstream media running cover for this administration, as they always do. Sonny Hostin of The View last week pointed out that all this talk that you hear about the border, that's just Republicans engaging in political theater. There's not really anything to what's going on at the border. They're just doing it to try and make the president look bad. Just today, it was announced by law enforcement in El Paso, Texas, just over the weekend, not the whole week, just the weekend, 7,400 people arrested at the border, not to mention the estimated 4,000 that they didn't catch. But it's just political theater. Not to mention, the week before that, in the Del Rio sector alone, over 10,000 people walked across the border and set up shop. You know, it says something that we would allow this to happen. The newest scam is that when these individuals arrive in Mexico, en masse, approaching our southern border, the Mexican government gives them a 30-day visa. Our southern border now is littered with all of these Mexican 30-day visas. The reason is they don't want us to know where they're going or what they're doing. Meanwhile, last year, a record over 107,000 of our fellow Americans dying from fentanyl. And where do you think a large portion of this is being smuggled into? But there are more important things than that. At the end of the day, y'all, this is not about conservative or liberal. This is not about black or white. This is not about gay or straight. This is about the future of our country. This is about being a nation of laws and a nation that is secure within its borders. If any other country were to do this, we'd call them crazy. We call them stupid. And yet, it's happening right before our very eyes. Of course, now, the media would have you believe it's all political theater. Do you realize how many millions of people we are allowing to come in? The White House, by the way, wants to give them free health care. How many of these people come into this country, don't pay taxes, and take a percentage, if not most of, the money they make here and send back home? I seem to remember about 2 years ago, Joe Biden naming what he said at the time was the most qualified person in America to deal with the immigration problem. I think she had a title, Immigration Czar, another title / Vice President of the United States. And I seem to remember her on the taxpayer dime climbing aboard Air Force Two and flying down to a bunch of countries in South America to ferret out the root causes of this surge in immigration. And I seem to remember her saying that, well, the purpose of the trip is to compile all this information, one of their favorite buzz phrases, come up with a holistic approach to the root causes of the problem. I pride myself on staying reasonably abreast of current events. But for the life of me, I don't remember, 2 years removed now, of the vice president holding a press conference and informing her fellow Americans that we figured out what the root causes are and this is our solution to the problem. Do y'all remember that? I know you didn't. That was rhetorical. You didn't have to answer. We all know the answer to that question, including Vice President Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And yet, it continues pretty much unabated. One city, El Paso, just over the weekend, 7,400 arrested. That's not including the gotaways. In the Del Rio sector, 1 week, 10,000 arrested, with an estimated 4,000 gotaways. You know what is so befuddling to me? How there is not a massive outcry from Democrats over this. Because you do realize, do you not, the people who will be hurt the most by this are members of the Democrat base. You do realize that. If you religiously vote Democrat, you are the one that will be most affected by their policies. And yet, there is a sizable percentage of my fellow Americans that will fight to the death to vote Democrat. At some point, you have to ask yourself, what have these people done to my brain that I no longer use it? What in God's name has happened to me that I would willingly vote for people who make no bones about promoting policies that destroy my community? Just a question. Just a question. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. A little bit of a heads up for you guys and girls, my fellow Louisianians, and those of you that have friends and relatives out of state. The Louisiana Department of Health wants you to know that there have been so far around 40 of our fellow Louisianians who have become sick from eating raw oysters imported from Texas. If you're like me, and you enjoy a good raw oyster, and yes, I do speak English, a little bit of lemon, Tabasco sauce, and cocktail sauce down the hatch. Be sure that you ask your favorite restaurateur or bar owner where they got the oysters from. Every so often we see this occur. The norovirus can be transmitted easily through consuming raw shellfish. Right now, the latest symptoms include, and this is a range of severity, nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal cramps, sometimes low-grade fever. Be sure, and you know your buddy Clarence, I'm as Louisiana as the day is long. I always ask that you inquire where you get the seafood from and make it a point to support our Louisiana fishermen. It's the least that we can do for them harvesting the bounty that we all love so much here in Louisiana. So ask. Nothing against the good folks in Texas, but until they get a handle on this, you might want to ask. Consider yourselves forewarned. You know, as a guy who has spent his entire professional life in this field of endeavor, it pains me to watch what has happened to the written word and the art of storytelling in recent memory. You can tell easily how the dumbing down of America manifests itself by simply reading articles all across the platforms, be it online, physical copy of the paper, what have you. The number of news outlets that at the end of a story will post a banner. If you see a typo or an error in grammar, please let us know at such and such and such and such, and mention the title of the article. That's your job. That's not my job. That's your job. And if you have a question about it, whether or not there's a typo or grammatical error, you need to find better people to hire. Just last week, story entitled, "Man Arrested for Alleged Bank Robbery." All right, let's analyze this. Man arrested. So apparently, you conducted an investigation. You determined that the bank was robbed. You developed a suspect and subsequently arrested that individual. Why is it an alleged bank robbery? Is the bank missing any money? Yes. Was it taken by some unauthorized person? Yes. Then it's a bank robbery. It's not an alleged bank robbery. Are you telling me if the guy's found not guilty that the robbery didn't happen? Another one that just boggles my mind. How have we arrived at this point? Have you noticed now when a mugshot is published, there's now a banner on the picture, "Innocent until proven guilty." Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that something they start teaching us in, I don't know, elementary school? Is that not one of the pillars of America? One of the things that we hold most dear is that you can accuse anybody of anything, but unless and until you prove me guilty, I'm innocent. So why all of a sudden now does the media feel the need to put a banner on the mugshot, "Innocent until proven guilty"? While I point my finger at media for doing this, y'all do realize the old adage about be careful about pointing your finger at somebody because there's 3 of them pointing right back at you. How have we arrived at a point in time where we feel the need to inform grown American adults on a mugshot, no less, that in this country you are innocent until proven guilty? I don't know if they are doing this purposely, but maybe, just maybe, it is a tacit acknowledgement that, yeah, we have dumbed these folks down to the point where they don't even recognize the basic tenets of the Constitution. People come from all over the world to be a part of what we have here. And one of those reasons is, at least for the time being, you can feel what you want to feel and say what you want to say. Many people will take their lives in their hands, crossing shark-infested waters, walking across the burning desert sands, because they want to be a part of something that says if you are accused of a crime, you are presumed innocent unless and until we prove you guilty. This has only started, to my knowledge, in the last year or two. And when I first saw it, I kind of chuckled because I said to myself, well, duh, we all know this. But now it occurs with such a degree of regularity, it leads me to wonder, are the media outlets saying in an underhanded way, y'all so stupid that we need to remind you every opportunity we get that you're innocent unless and until you are proven guilty? When a society rooted in freedom arrives at a point where we no longer are aware of and cherish the most basic tenets of our Constitution. English teachers, forgive me, in 3, 2, 1. We in trouble, y'all. We're in trouble. The most basic tenet of our society. I have the right to defend myself and my loved ones. I have the right to think, feel, and say what I want. And if I'm accused of a crime, I am innocent unless and until you prove me guilty. Sadly, we may never know, but the percentage of people that will see that banner on the mugshot and say, wow, I didn't know that. We're innocent until proven guilty? I'm scared to even entertain the thought of what that percentage is. And sadly, when folks with this, when we disappear off the scene, God help those that we leave behind. Just saying. Speaking of just saying, Marty just told me, you better say, my time's up, and I gotta go. But this day, maybe more so than any other day in history, I give it to you. You know what? You are 100% correct. America, we are not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Either way, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. We'll see you soon. God bless.